Napoli beat Juventus 1-0. Lorenzo Insigne's 100th goal for the club is enough to give them the win. It was a very important one as well, because there are many layers to this, Janusz, particularly because we've seen his recent record from the spot against Juventus. So he must have been so happy to see that one go in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was do or die for Napoli, wasn't it? For the managers as well. I mean, it's crazy with Gattuso. I think had he lost this game, of course, this would be probably us talking about, when is he getting let go of? So that was very, very important given the circumstance and given Napoli's injuries as well. At the heart of defense, of course, as we know, in particular with Kalidou Koulibaly and Manolas. I mean, heroic performance from them, losing Ospina, in the warm-ups as well. Ahead of that, of course, Alex Meret came in, arguably the best number two, would be number one on many teams as well. So I don't think I was necessarily surprised, but I'm sure he was. And mentally, I don't know how prepared he was, but I'll tell you what, he played great. Look, what surprised me the most, I suppose, was that Juve didn't realize that their title is slipping away for the second time, because they've been on a great run. And I felt, I don't know if you remember, the win against Milan at that time was crucial for me, because had Milan won that game at the beginning of January, that would have been 10 points right there. And I think that would have been curtains, at least in my book, and it would have given both Milan sides a great opportunity. And here we are. Obviously, Milan's got a big game against Spezia, but if they're able to win that, at the very least, I think in my book, that's going to be curtains now for Juventus. And I felt quite the opposite ahead of this game. I thought that Juventus, the champions for the up-teen time, were given a second chance. And you don't do that to teams like Juventus. You don't give them a chance if you can. So what an opportunity missed in this game for Juventus. They didn't look like they didn't look with their urgency, Kay, like they knew what was going on in this game.
You're really saying that Juventus are out of this at this point?
Yeah, I just don't know if you can, back then, that's beginning of January, it's a little bit different, right? But right now you have a Milan side who's in great form. I don't know how they do it, but they continue to do it. By the way, Milan, almost everyone healthy right now. You have Inter that have to be, that's the only chance they have for a trophy this year. Out of Champions League, of course, out of Coppa Italia. We all know what's happening right now. Antonio Conte under pressure. And now, again, there's a possibility of 10 points, at least for one side, for Milan, that is, of course. I think this is going to be difficult. I think this is going to be a massive blow. And yeah, why not? What the heck? I'm going to go on record and say that this is it for Juventus.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that it seems that because they've just won it year after year, it almost seems unfathomable that it won't happen. But just going to Napoli, and you mentioned Gattuso, it had been said that the cup game against Atalanta, which obviously they lost, and then this game against Napoli were the two games that he had to save his job. Do you think it's harsh that he's had this put on him with the injuries that he's got? Or do you think it's fair with the competition that's in Serie A right now?
Well, the competition doesn't make it easier. I think Napoli are a side where, one or two players make a difference, right? You and I were talking about, Liverpool losing so many players. So I don't want to be a hypocrite and say now, look, Napoli, I've mentioned Koulibaly, Manolas, Dries Mertens, who's a massive loss to them. Fabian Ruiz, who's, back, but obviously after COVID. And I think that COVID has affected Napoli in many ways. And I know everybody's been affected by it, Juventus and all Serie A teams and around Europe. But I think a side like Napoli, there are one or two players that they can't play without, Kay. And I think that's what's happening to them. Look, Napoli didn't do anything special in today's game. They just fought, and they fought hard. They're not a special team. That's why I've been really negative on Juventus today, because they've done enough, late in the game to get back. But I just don't think that in the final analysis, in Pirlo and in Gattuso, you have managers that are ready to be fighting for titles, for the highest, honors here.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.